Hello, friends. This is Kathleen, and I'm here with my friend Laura. We've already had quite a full moon exercise in this trying to record this tonight. I had finished my prayer, which I will start again, and my welcome. I welcome whoever finds this and whoever listens and hears anything that they find value in. I hope that value is found. Since tonight has already been a little wackadoodle, I'm just going to let it flow. I don't know how it's going to end up, what's going to happen. I want to share some things that have come up for me in the last week, and then we will see what who wants to join us. I do feel that I have beings around me, and we'll just see. It's a little bit free flowing tonight. I want to give gratitude for all of those who are here with me physically, which is Laura, and who are here in thoughts, and who are here um, that as beings from the other side. You are all welcome as long as you come from your heart. Uh, so we will, and I just give gratitude to the universe for the honor and privilege of doing this work, and for anyone who finds this work, and for all the people who are doing whatever work they are meant to do in life. Thank you. Well, first of all, one of the things that happened in the last week, my son-in-law asked me to listen to some music that he felt defined this time in history, and this music was from the 60s and 70s. So I listened to a couple of those, and it took me directly back to the Vietnam War, which was something of my youth. I graduated from high school in 1966. So I had friends who went to Vietnam. I remember many things, and it took me all the way back to that. And then I started thinking about how I felt, what that made me feel, what that made me remember. And what I realized is that I have been waiting for peace since my birth. It started with my father, who was injured in World War II, and his injuries and his experience being in the South Pacific during the war, being in a hospital after his injury where nobody knew where he was, being just, it had some pretty strong experiences that he never really shared, except that we saw and helped him live through the pain and the wounds. And he suffered for many years. Finally had his leg amputated, but that was not the only injury, but that reduced his suffering. So I was 17 whenever he uh, had his leg amputated. So we had that. So our family uh, felt the ravages of war for all of that time, and then actually until his death, because he suffered with many uh, experiences. But then we had, and I don't really remember this, but I know that part of what happens to us is when our family is experiencing something that causes great turmoil, we experience it in the form of the energy of turmoil. So the Korean War happened in the mid 50s, and then there was the Vietnam War, and then there wars in the Middle East. And I have what I realized is that I had been carrying the energy of waiting for peace till this day. And I think that's probably part of my feelings of this current war, which is totally unnecessary. It's part of the whole caricature of the idiocy of what's happening right now. But I got to thinking about that, and I realized that I have the energy of waiting for peace. And what I feel is that peace is just around the corner. So instead of waiting for peace right now, I am rejoicing in the fact that something I have waited for my entire life is just around the corner. So I hope that we can all feel that instead of feeling the sadness of the ravages of war, which I'm not discounting any of the suffering that's happening, but that we can hold the feeling that it will be over soon. And on the other side of this experience that we're all having, which is war is only a part of it. We are watching suffering everywhere. But let us be grateful for those who are in the midst of it. Be grateful for ourselves because can, because we don't have to suffer the way other people are suffering. Grateful for that. Grateful for the knowing that this is going to be over soon. And I think if we can all feel that collective feeling of the end of this suffering will bring it closer to us. So that is what I have. That's the lesson I learned. That's the aha moment I have had this week, and that is what I'm working on. So thank you for letting me share that. Now to some of the fun stuff. I don't know if you know this, but I'm a physical medium, and sometimes physical mediums experience apports, which are the physical objects that show up, or sometimes physical objects that disappear. Uh, and last night, and by the way, yesterday was my birthday. I am 39 times 2, hoping to last till 39 times 3. I I heard a lot of noise last night. I had a very nice birthday, but then I went to bed probably, I don't know, sometime around midnight I went to bed, I suppose. And I woke up 3 times because of noises. There were noises in my bedroom. There were noises in the bathroom. There were noises probably in my second bedroom. I was startled awake, but then I thought, well, this building is settling again. It's a creaky old building, lots of wood um, framing and so forth, but that's what I attributed it to. And I always think, is there some sort of a critter? But it would have had to have been a really big critter. Uh, so I went back to sleep and then woke up again. And one of the noises was the sound of something dropping onto a non-carpeted floor. And I attributed the whole thing to nothing but the creaky building and uh, just maybe a critter, hopefully not a critter, but I wasn't afraid. I was startled each time, and I just went back to sleep, say a little prayer and go back to sleep. Well, this morning I came into my second bedroom, and in the middle of the floor, there is a mystery piece of plastic that I have no clue where it came. And there's also a mystery piece of plastic kind of string that I can't identify, and a little piece of cellophane paper or something. Anyway, those little things are just kind of in an area maybe about this big. The plastic is small. It looks kind of like a broken part of a of something that screws like a pipe or something. Anyway, I looked all over the place for whatever broke in the middle of the night. And so far, I've not found anything that broke or anything that is even near that piece of plastic. So I consulted my pendulum, and I just asked, "Is that an apport?" And I got yes. I, you know, don't trust me. So I ask a friend something that I call an intuitive question. So we just say it's an intuitive question, yes or no. They don't know what the question is. They have no idea. And I have friends that I do this. This particular person is also a physical medium. And she came back with yes. And I thought, okay. And then she asked again without knowing what the question was. She asked to verify, is it a yes? And she got yes the second time. So I'm thinking it's an apport. I will let you know if my son-in-law is coming over with his much younger eyes and his ability uh, to do a better inspection to see if he can find where this broken piece of plastic came from. And he's also skeptical. So he applies his scientific mind, even though he's awakening and all that. But he applies he doubts it first, and then when all doubt is swept away, he will believe it. But so he's coming over tomorrow to help me see if we can find where that little piece of plastic came from. So that's one of those fun times. By the way, this is not the first time that I've experienced that. I've had a few things disappear and then come back months later in the same place where I looked for it 50 times. I had a particular ring that showed up in that way, and I know I looked in that place 50 times. And I've had pins and just different things show up that related to something I was experiencing that were in the form of a message, and I've recorded them. They may make it into a book someday, but so I know that this happens, and you can actually look that up if you want to. And there are experiences of other mediums that have this. When I was with my friend um, that I consulted with, I lived with her for a while, and just before I left, we both found apports, and hers, the one for her, was a little like a Barbie size crown, a little child's crown. She has no young children. She has no, at that time, she did not have any little girls that would have had that. There was no way to have brought that into her house, and yet there it was. And I found something much more boring, but it was something in the middle of the bedroom that I was living in. So these things can happen. So that was a fun thing that happened last night, and I'm still kind of trying to figure that whole thing out. I know many years ago, before I experienced any of this metaphysical stuff, I actually had a date who came over to my house, and we were chatting, and we suddenly heard glass breaking, and a light bulb had exploded. Now, maybe that was just a normal thing for whatever, but maybe it wasn't. And I feel like that particular person was very gifted in his own right. He has since passed away. But anyway, those are some of the fun things. By the way, earlier in the day when I was paying attention and thinking about this apport and trying to verify was it truly an apport, I had a vision of the being that uh, left this piece of plastic for me. Um, and it was a large being. It was not, I do not believe that it was a Sasquatch, but it was kind of built in that way, kind of really big. And, but it was like a, a cat being, but masculine, very broad shoulders, very muscular. And that was just a vision that that I saw. And I look forward to this being coming back, but maybe he doesn't have to make so much noise. I've had several visions of beings. I know that there's a mantis being, there's blue avians, and there's several. But anyway, those are some of the fun things I get to experience. So, the other thing that I wanted to share relates to that, in that at this time, starting, it feels like yesterday, the 1st of April, something opened up, something changed, something expanded. And I don't know if anybody else feels this, but we have heard for a long time that our gifts will expand, that our intuition will get strong, that our gifts of clairvoyance and clairaudience and all of those things are going to expand and increase. And that is happening to me. The gift, the telepathy that I experience with my daughter, especially, and other people too, uh, has expanded. So pay attention to what you see, what you think you see, what shadows, or what you think you hear, what you just trust that things are expanding, things are changing, and also it's going to get faster and faster. So hold on. Be sure that you are sure-footed wherever you might walk, and just just enjoy, because it's all good. There's nothing to be afraid of. This has been prophesied that we would change, that we would shift, and I'm experiencing it. And I think many, many, many other people are also experiencing. And I just want to suggest that you notice and don't discount something and say, no, that couldn't have happened. I must have been imagining it, because maybe you're not imagining it. So, okay. I've babbled long enough. I'm going to ask our friends from the Aspects of Love to come forward, give us some light language, and if they have a message, um, I'm open to facilitating that for them. And then we will do a little more light language and then open up for questions and just see how it flows. I thank you for being here. Ah, sapete, di abita catata te mi anda taci catata mai attata i pecche te te casca te la yatta. Si che te tiana mada caso con te a tiana makate shatta ata manai te pata che te tiana makashikta tiata pata yata tamana che te. We are here in joy. We are here to enjoy. We are here with joy for the opportunity to be with you, even for a short time. We concur with the suggestions that our friend Kathleen has made. We wish to reassure you that we are here and we might even orchestrate a little of the magic that you might experience. Look for silver streaks and shadows. Look for things that you hear that maybe sound like they're off in the distance. Look for synchronicities of, I was thinking about this person and then they called. Look for just all kinds of magic. Spend any time that you can being with nature, which includes looking at nature. Our friend is not able to go out, but she watches birds and trees all the time and enjoys those. We reassure you that we are here, that you are doing well, that you are doing the things that your heart wants you to do. And remember to do that as much as you can. Think from the heart rather than from the brain. We will be with you through this, and we look forward to answering whatever questions you might have. We love you. We are proud of you. We are enjoying watching your progress. We will leave you now with some energetic love. Mm. Are there any questions?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
We've in the past day or two, we've had a new rocket ship take off to travel around the moon, the Earth's moon. And I'm wondering, this makes me think about things I don't know about. So I'm wondering if the laws of physics, specifically gravity, are the same or similar on other planets throughout the universe, or if they have completely different sort of rules of physics.
That's an excellent question. There are varieties of all types of um, agreements, let us say, of how things will work on different in different universes, in different planets, in different ways. So, for instance, in one planet, in your planet, you rely on oxygen to breathe as your life force, and water. Water is everywhere in some form, but oxygen may not be the breathing um, apparatus or the breathing type on every planet. So, if there is a planet that would have a different mixture, that basically is going to adjust all sorts of different rules. And as you realize, the laws of physics, the rules as you've grown up with, change. When you were little, no one really talked about uh, the quantum field. But yes, that is now a new part of physics. So that is an example of the fact that it's not the same everywhere, because it's not even the same in every minute. And it's not even the same throughout the life of a planet. So try to imagine if you know anything about any kind of chemistry, try to imagine how things would change if there was a different way of living. We breathe on your planet, you breathe in oxygen and you expel carbon dioxide. And then the trees use that. There's a cycle that is beautiful plant. But try to imagine it take, for instance, a different um, element, and be also know also that the elements that you experience on your planet aren't necessarily the same elements. But take an element that you might know of and compare the way that if another being had to breathe with that particular element, or they had to use that element as life source, think about how different that would change everything. Now, this may not be something that you want to do, but this is a thought experiment of just a way to imagine, because there is a myriad of different planets, of different cultures, with different experiences, with different laws of their nature, of even different types of nature. So, because um, if you throw something through the air, the oxygen and the composition of the air has an effect on the project trajectory of that thing that you threw. So think of it in other ways, and just let your mind just kind of expand, because you will you might have fun with it. But no, they're not all the same everywhere. they're designed for your planet, and they change as your knowledge of how your Earth works. Things will change. And obviously, this is a construct of your own agreed imagination of the collective that you experience what you do. Did that answer your question?
Well, since I don't have a science background, it just brings up a lot more things that I don't know. But that's okay. I'm curious as to whether the astronauts that they're going around to the other side of the moon, whether they might experience anything interesting over there.
I'm sure they will. But the thing is, things are revealed based on their readiness for things to be revealed. So, for instance, if you've heard the story of the ships that were approaching a land that had never seen ships, and the only people that could see the ships were the shamans because they had an open mind. But ships were not in the experience of the other beings, the other humans. So they couldn't even see them because it just was not within their realm of possibilities. So the astronauts will experience what they are meant to experience, what is ready to be experienced. Um, we we wonder if some of their intention is looking for uh, things that support what you're calling disclosure. And of course, disclosure will happen when it's meant to happen, not when someone wishes it to happen. And of course, the beings who wish to be your friends, there are many, many, many beings who wish to be friends and to bring the humanity into the galactic family. They're waiting for you, for the humanity to get finished with some of its experimentation in we do not wish to call it their experimentation in experiencing things that are uncomfortable, let us say. When enough of your humanity is done with experimenting with uncomfortable separations, things will evolve quicker. That is probably all we can say about that. But they will experience things to learn. They will have experiences. They have chosen a specific timing that may lend itself to making things uncomfortable in some ways. Um, but they will and they will bring back more knowledge from a human's perspective. We wish you to wonder what kind of experiences, if astronauts were also uh, included in the belief system of the galactic world, the belief system that humanity is not the only beingness, that this dimension is not the only dimension. And we leave you with that. Did that answer your question?
Well, that and more questions, of course, that will require patience, I think. So thank you very much.
It is certainly an interesting world, an interesting time, but we let you know that each um, generation had their own interesting part of this evolutionary time on your planet. So even the earliest of humans had their lives were interesting too. They were different, but they had their challenges. They were just different challenges than what you experience. And the progression has made it differently interesting, but always interesting. And we appreciate the fact that you find interest in asking probing questions about things that you don't quite know yet, because now you know a little bit more. Is that, do you have any other question? Do you have any other question?
Oh, sorry. I don't have any more today. I will probably have more in the future. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate your being here and your willingness to ask us questions. And we will always answer to the extent that we can. We love you. We appreciate you. We will give you one more bit of our energetic love as we say good night. Hey, hey, chi ta ta ke te kata ta ta ne e te ha 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 nia ta ka sa te ana na ne e patata I kata I ana ma he te e te ama ne ke skata I na me e ta a le ana ma ke skate ta ia ta ta pe te ke te ana ma te skate e te a ta me na da ia ta pa te e te ana ma ke te skata